actually triggered deep emotional trauma from my childhood. Let's just say we moved through it. There's forgiveness. There's a cleansing that's happened. But I never want to go through that again. I have no desire to go through that again. But what I learned watching these people is I would see how much this human would get stuff and take from people, and it never satisfied. It never was enough. She was angry at the world, and ultimately she was really angry at herself because she wasn't loving herself. She wasn't honoring herself. She was not honoring her word. She would give her word and then go against her word. I'm going to tell you guys, you want to keep life simple? When you say something, what you say, do what you say.
Amen.
And mean what you say, or don't fucking say it. Because a big part of the drama in our lives that we create comes from the lack of our integrity. So if we promise ourselves something and then we go against that, let's say with an addiction. Let's say someone's like, I'm not going to smoke because I know it's not good for me. I'm giving up cigarettes. I'm done with it. And then in 2 days, we have a stressful moment. And instead of going and dealing with it in a more loving way, we go right back to our vice. Then we're angry at ourselves. Oh, damn it. I can't quit smoking. I'll never be able to quit smoking. So then you're angry at self. And now you're angry at people around you. And so then you give your word that you're going to help them with something, and then you go back on it. It's a very quick and fast destructive mechanism in your world. And so when we're living our lives this way, we are going to suffer, and we typically create destruction all around us. Like I said, we survived these humans in our life, but they were so disrespectful to the core. Like they literally, when they moved out, they didn't clean their room. They didn't do anything kind. They peed on their balcony. And I was out there like, this is so disgusting. I'm cleaning up after them. And just like the hatefulness, they stole the groceries from us. Like seriously, it blew me away of how humans could treat others this way. But big picture, I know that this is not going to serve them, because when someone is taking from others and they're being hateful to others who have done nothing but show them honor, you are seriously shooting yourself in the foot. And so the reason I'm saying this today is because not just because I hope people will show me gratitude. I love moments of honor and gratitude, and I give them all the time. But I know that the power of it is going to change your life. The power of it, any human that's listening, including the ones that moved out of my home, if they really listened and they really shifted their focal point to gratitude instead of what's in it for me all the time, instead of being pissed off all the time that they didn't get enough, if they started to really have great gratitude for what they do have, they would feel ease, they would feel peace, they would feel joy. And interestingly, that is what we're all desiring. At the deepest places, what makes me happy and healthy and helps me thrive is my state of joy and ease. So when I'm talking about often the book Getting into the Vortex and the laws of attraction, it's all about vibrational alignment. So people can argue with me all they want. The whole world, could be like, Tanya, we don't care what you say about vibrational alignment because we're going to just do these destructive things we want to do because it's just the way we want to do it, and we don't really care what you have to say. Fine, but I am here to tell you vibrational alignment is a real thing, and it really matters to your good, to your goodness, to your health, to your happiness. So the swifter that we each get on board on the gratitude alignment game, the faster we're going to shift this planet and get it into a more balanced state again. The more that we stay in a me focus, the more we're going to destroy our own bodies, and then quickly we're going to destroy relationships around us, and then it'll exude further out into destroying our environment, destroying our community, destroying our planet. And I'm telling you, it all traces back to self and how you are treating yourself. If you don't love yourself, if you're not honoring yourself, if you're not taking good care of yourself, taking care of your body, if you're not honoring your word and having integrity, practicing speaking what you mean, the 4 agreements. Do you guys remember that book by Miguel Ruiz? Be impeccable with your word, always do your best, never make assumptions, and what was the other one? Be impeccable with your word, never make assumptions, always do your best, and don't take things personally. That book, I would recommend every one of you listening, if you haven't read it, to get it. And if you have read it, read it again. Because honestly, it's a constant practice that we have to stay in a state of awareness where we are really being impeccable with our word. So if I say something, I need to honor what I say. If I am thinking something and it's not loving, am I being impeccable with my word? If I'm thinking hateful things about myself and I'm thinking of lack and limitation, is that impeccability of my word? Absolutely not, because we live in an infinite, abundant universe. So if I relax my energy and I get back into a state of oneness with Source, and I thank the universe for bringing in the highest solution, this is how I live my life. And this is why I share this every week with you guys, because it makes all the difference. And my goal is that there will be a lot of humans living like I am, enjoying their lives, loving their bodies, loving their lives, and giving honor and gratitude to themselves, because that's going to extend out to their relationships, out to their communities, and it's going to extend out to the planet. My ultimate goal is that we will come into such state of a oneness that we will really love ourselves and each other, and this planet will thrive. I mean, doesn't that sound good to every one of you, if you really think about it? That we could all be here thriving, that we all could be here receiving goodness and abundance, that we all are worthy, because it's true. So I'm going to take a pause. Is there any questions or comments on that so far?
Pegasus is asking, at what point does self-love becomes self-centeredness or ego?
Okay, that is a great question. Okay, so here's the difference between truly being in a state of self-love as opposed to being a narcissist and being in a complete absorbed space where you're self-centered. Huge difference, because when we truly love self, we are not focused just on self. We love ourselves, and we're going to take good care of ourselves. We're going to have good boundaries. But our focal point is truly on a how may I serve, service to others focal point. So we love ourselves, but we're also looking around and how may I serve, love, and assist and support the whole? Because this human is a reflection of self. So I will help show love and honor to that human in a way that also loves and honors myself. So when we really are loving ourselves, we're very generous with our time and our energy and our gifts with others as well. When we are in self-centeredness and we're a narcissist, it doesn't matter how much love we're getting, it's never enough. And often you'll see this show and manifest in people that constantly thrive the spotlight. They constantly thrive the center of attention. They constantly need more and more praise, more and more love, more and more honor, but it's never enough, and they always want more. And they're constantly, and I say this with love, but I see the humans that I observe that are really, let's say, let me help serve others, or, hey, it's all about me and I need all of you to serve more of my neediness. Those humans often are constantly wanting to take their selfies. It's all about them. And their focal point is very rarely extending beyond themselves. It's very rarely, how am I affecting others? Is my narcissistic tendencies, is my selfish behavior, how I'm withholding love, I'm withholding support, I'm withholding honor, I'm being hateful and throwing tantrums and acting like a spoiled brat, is that actually showing honor to others? The consciousness in a human that's narcissistic is not even awake and aware of how they're affecting the whole. Often the moment they sense that, they'll go right back into their drama because they don't want to see, because they get something from it. So if, like I said, if we want to heal any addiction, so someone who's narcissistic and self-centered, the addiction of that is that some level they're getting something from that. So if they play the victim or the martyr more and more, and then people give them stuff and they do things for them, they're getting something from it. So it's kind of like, if a dog does a certain misaligned behavior and then they get a treat for it, the dog's going to keep doing that. So we have to really watch, as the aligned humans, am I honoring the misalignment in this person by giving them things? Am I honoring that shift in them, or am I actually enabling them to stay in a space of misalignment? And so that's why I said it's walking a fine line of awareness constantly. So when we're in self-love, we love ourselves, but we're often focused on the whole and how can we serve and assist and support. When we're self-centered, we're really very rarely regarding the needs of others or caring how things affect the others that we're doing. So it's like being in that place where we're so aware that we don't want to create damage and destruction to those around us. And we love ourselves. So we're not doing things that are destructive to ourselves. So if I'm hurting myself and I'm taking drugs every day, let's say, my focal point and my awareness is already going to be diminished, because now I'm in a state of highness, or whatever they call that, where really you're not conscious. You go unconscious in your addiction, and then you justify your behavior for being a taker and a tyrant and a hateful being. And that is self-centeredness. And there's a huge difference. That human is not having joy. They are not enjoying their life. They are not having fulfillment. And they are not co-creating and cultivating healthy relationships. They can't until they can love themselves, until they can come into a space where they create a relationship with self. And that's why, as a healer, so much of the work I'm doing in auric clearings is working in shadow, working with the unconscious, the inner child aspects of each human. It is profoundly powerful, but it takes courage. Any of you listening that know that you could benefit, first step is you have to step in and say, hey, I'd like to set up a session and let me look at my stuff because I'm ready to heal it. It takes courage to put it on the table and to look at it. Then it takes constant awareness as we're clearing and releasing the old stuff, constant awareness to see what's coming up for us and how am I going to face this? How am I going to now release this old energy? And I'm going to integrate and accept more and more of myself. So if you remember back when I was talking about the Hawaiian healing method, where it's, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. This is what I do constantly when humans like the ones that just left my sacred space, I stayed centered. I was very proud of myself that I stayed centered. I did speak my truth. I stood in my power. I maintained my center. I did not lose my vibrational alignment. I didn't wish hate on them or do any hateful things to them because of how they were treating me. So I feel like it was a huge initiation. I passed that. But at the same time, I am so grateful that they've left my life and my movie, and I wish them all the best. I know the laws of karma and the laws of cause and effect are in alignment, and they're working. So every human that's doing their thing, divine justice is at work. So I don't need to go and get revenge or justice, take out, revenge to get justice on another. And this is something that we as humans need to really start to pay attention to and connect the dots on, because maybe in many past lives we were warriors and we would have freaking killed people like that and threw them off the balcony. I mean, I'm sure there's lifetimes that we have annihilated humans that would have been disrespectful. And in this lifetime, I see people still doing that. I'm justified in taking a life because someone didn't honor something of my life. And we've got to shift that, because if we don't, all we do is we stay spinning on that karmic wheel. We keep creating more and more of that karmic energy of drama, pain, shame, guilt, suffering. And so what I'm mirroring to all of you is that, yes, things may come and we will stay in the center. We will speak our truth with love and honor. And then we let those souls make their choices. We trust that the universe loves us and supports us infinitely and abundantly. So I don't need to make this human get it. This human may have to suffer the rest of their life. They might have to really create a lot of darkness, and they might go off and affect how many other people after me, creating hatred and, pain dramas with that, with new people. But that is their choice. And they are going to have that karmic energy return to them, whatever they're putting out. So for us, it's like staying in a state of gratitude, even when this darkness comes. Like for some of us, I'm sure some of you watching, you don't have the perfect life. Who does? Some of you might be really struggling with relationships. Maybe you have children that are just taking. and disrespectful. Maybe you're dealing with family that just don't see you, they don't appreciate you. Maybe you're at work and you have that coworker who's just driving you freaking insane. These are the humans that we want to